the controversy doesn't change facts. And we come from South Africa. We are African born, and we train from there. So, and that's literally all that was said in those exchanges. It's absolutely ridiculous that it's been drawn out of proportion like this. We are just
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Cam, you are in Vegas. That's kind of like your guys' ritual. Well, you guys do it for a reason. Get out there a little bit early. How is it for you to climatize to the Vegas weather? Because it's not the best weather out there.
Yeah, definitely. We come from South Africa, which is also quite a hot country, but the humidity here is something really to get used to. So, we are really trying to be as professional as possible, and that also involved coming a little bit earlier. So, we usually come about 12 days before the fight. This time we came 17 days before the fight, just to make sure that everything is in order come fight night.
What was there any, you say everything's in order when fight night comes. Was there anything that happened in the past that made you guys come a little bit earlier?
No, not necessarily. I think it's like we said, just getting used to the climate, getting used to the type of weather here, as that can play a big role. Obviously, when we fight in the arena, it's air conditioned and stuff like that. But it's really just coming in early so that you don't have to worry about all the administration that revolves around traveling. Come in early, get your body to climatize, get used to the food here as well. I think that's a massive thing. Getting used to the bacterias and the sicknesses and stuff that is in this country, and then really having your body settle here. And at the end of the day, that's just going to help your performance. So I think that was the thought process in coming earlier.
For sure. And you're fighting Terrence Mitchell, which came as a surprise to a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because you were supposed to fight Christian Rodriguez, a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to. He got injured. He's pulled.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed?
Yeah, definitely. I was disappointed. I think, when the Christian Rodriguez and Raul Rosas fight was announced, the moment that was announced, I sent it to a few people and said this is a bad fight for Rosas, because I knew the caliber of fighter Christian Rodriguez is, and I was very looking forward to that fight. Obviously he has a lot of hype now that he has beat one of the youngest guy in the division. But you know what? I cannot control his injuries. I hope he gets back into training and fight shape soon. But my focus is shifting to Terrence Mitchell, and at come fight night, I'm going to get a finish and prove that I do not want to waste my time anymore at the bottom of the division. I want to start working my way up, and start fighting guys that are higher ranked, and I'll be able to do that with the performance I'll show come UFC 290.
Before we talk more about Terrence, I wanted to ask you about Raul Rojas and him being so young, even though you're not much older than him, but it seems like he's been, pushed into the spotlight. And do you feel like it's not a skill thing? It's more of like maybe too much too early, especially on a pay-per-view?
I think at the end of the day, he's here to do a job, and with that job comes a lot of stuff like media obligations, interviews, photo shoots. Everything revolves around that. You have to be good at everything in this game, So I have a lot of respect for him. He is super young. I'm young myself, but if you are here, if you're fighting for the UFC, you're going to go against the best guys in the world. So you have to show up come fight nights, and he pushed the pace in that Rodriguez fight a lot, and I think it just speaks to his experience. He went out there, he probably got gassed, but before the end of the second round, and Rodriguez got to steal that win. So I think he has a lot of time to learn, he has a lot of time to improve, and he'll probably be back soon. So
For sure. Terrence Mitchell, was he the first option to replace Rodriguez?
to be honest, like there was like a few days that we didn't hear anything. So I was still training because I was hoping for a replacement, and that's the guy that they gave us. I didn't ask if there were any other options. I didn't I really didn't call for anybody else. I was just looking for a fight, and he was the guy that they offered us, and we immediately took it. It's a massive pay-per-view event, International Fight Week. It's a big opportunity to really showcase what we have been improving on since the last fight. So no matter who they put in front of me, I'll always say yes. I've never turned down a fight, and I'm not planning on doing that anytime soon.
It seems like you're not really worried about like your undefeated record, because a lot of guys, once they get to a certain level, they're like, okay, I gotta keep this intact, man, no matter what. I mean, I can't take risks.
Yeah, honestly, I have a brilliant mental coach slash type of pad holder assistant coach. It's weird. He's like a kind of hybrid. he's he's like Bugs Bunny playing all the positions in baseball. But he always says like you need to when you step out of there, you need to fight like you have everything to lose and nothing to lose at the same time. And that's when he told me that, that is something that really is ingrained in my brain. And I think people can see that in my performances. I go out there, I really try and look for finishes. It's much harder in the UFC, but I really try and finish fights. And I'm going to continue to be aggressive, continue to put on a show, and hopefully get a bonus come fight night.
Mitchell, he's known for his fight against Kai France on The Ultimate Fighter. He's won 4 in a row since that fight. What do you think of him and the skill set?
He's a great fighter. I think there's a obviously social media has pushed the Kai France video quite a lot, just of what happened in that fight. But it does not take away his very impressive record. He's 15-2. He has a massive record, a lot of experience, and doing research on the guy, he's been fighting forever. So he's going to be bringing that experience to the cage. I've been a professional for 4 years now, so he has the experience, and but that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We study tape. I think we can finish the fight wherever we want. I would hope he would like to stay on the feet because we are on a stacked card, so it's going to make it very hard to get a bonus. So hopefully he wants to stay on the feet, and hopefully he's like-minded. He wants that extra 50K because that goes a long way in Alaska as it does in South Africa.
Without a doubt. I think it goes a long way wherever you are, right? Doesn't matter. Yeah, he's known to go to the ground, right? He's going to chase after submissions, and he's also pretty long for the division, right? Is that something that stood out to you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he is very long. He's I think he's about 1 or 2 inches taller than myself, and I consider myself quite tall for the division. So he has long, lanky arms, long legs as well. He has a very good head kick that he uses quite a lot. So coming into this fight, again, we are not threatened by that. If that is the way he wants to fight, that's great. We've faced guys that are taller than that. We faced guys with longer reach. We will have answers for that.
Your last fight against Mana Martinez, majority decision win, even with the point deduction. So it says something about the performance, right? Even though they took a point from you, you still got the win. How do you feel about how that fight played out?
Yeah, looking back, obviously after the fight, I was like quite disappointed because I do not want. Let me firstly say, like, I almost never foul. Like, it's such a it's actually the running joke in the gym. Like, the person that really doesn't foul any time in training now has like the most fouls in 2 or 3 fights. It's actually ridiculous. So it was it's very frustrating because I do not want there to be any questions next to my performances. But I do think that the longer the fight went on, the more damage we made, and the more we were, leaps and bounds ahead of Mana Martinez. So I think we got to show that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of spending some time in the cage. It's great to have first round finishes, but you also want to build up experience. I'm 22 years old, so if I can get as much fight time as possible, that's going to help me in a longevity wise a good career. And I also didn't take a lot of damage, so I'm pretty proud of that too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that fight I felt like was the most impressive out of the 3 or say 4 fights you've had,
Yeah.
at that level, because Mana Martinez, I feel I rate him very high in the division. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's very good everywhere, and he's got a funky style too. You know what I mean? He's not normal.
Yeah, definitely. He was, he was a really tough guy to fight. Especially like, you study his tape and he's like, okay, he has good boxing, he has slick head movements. But then once you're in there, it's like, okay, his timing is weird. His type of rhythm is quite weird. So he unfortunately got cut from the UFC, and I really do think wherever he goes, whatever promotion he goes, he'll have massive success in the bantamweight division for sure.
He'll be back, man. He'll be
Yeah.
back. I think he'll be back. The fouls, man. What was the backlash like after the fight? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you were like swarmed with messages about it.
So actually, not a lot. Obviously you see like a odd comment here and there, but to be honest, I think it came down to that third round. Like, yes, the fouls were there, but I still got a 10-8 round. I really like ran over him. So it also takes that in consideration. The backlash. I really honestly didn't see a lot of it. I do not read a lot of comments, so that it might be out there. But we'll have a foul free fight come UFC 90. I promise you that. So
Going through that early in your career, right? Going
yeah.
through a little controversy and then going into the press conference, having to handle that type of question. Because some guys, they fight 4 or 5 times in the UFC, win, lose. There's not much interest, man. Is it? Do you feel like all of this is going to help you as you rise to the ranks, and all more controversy, more headlines are going to come your way?
Yeah, most definitely, without a doubt. That's a great question. I do think, just like in the fight, we had a lot of adversity and we got to work through that. After the fight, it's exactly the same. You're gonna have to answer some hard pressing questions sometimes, and at the end of the day, I got the win. I'm 2-0 in the UFC. Within 2 weeks, I'm going to be 3-0. So we are going to be looking to climb the ranks, and with that is going to come a lot of hard pressing questions depending on the performance, and I'm for sure ready for that.
Your teammate, man, Dricus du Plessis, he's been surrounded by some controversy as of late. Have
Yeah.
you been drawn into that anyway?
Of course, definitely. But at the end of the day, the controversy doesn't change facts. And we come from South Africa. We are African born, and we train from there. So, and that's literally all that was said in those exchanges. It's absolutely ridiculous that it's been drawn out of proportion like this. We are just, at the end of the day, proud to be representing South Africa, and we are we are hopefully the next staple for that. For if the UFC wants to come to Africa, we want them to come to our hometown, our home country, and we'll represent the sport at the highest level in the best way possible. And I think it's going to be the best representation of African MMA is going to be to do it in our country.
For this training camp, has there been anything different compared to the previous ones?
Honestly, not a lot of difference. I think the consistency has absolutely helped a lot. I've been consistently fighting for a year and a half, or close to every 3 months. So um, we we always take time off. We focus on injury prevention and just keeping the body in one piece. I have Rice Krispie knees, the crackling knees at the age of 22. So we need to try and just work on that. But when we are back in the gym, it's back to full schedule. We focus a lot on improving all aspects of the game, and that's also what makes it easy to take a late notice fight or like an opponent change, because we really try and improve all aspects. So we'll be ready no matter who they put us against. So, um, coach, we have an ability to always step up the intensity in training, and it didn't change this time, especially with Dricus fighting Robert Whitaker. So the aura in the gym was amazing, and the work ethic was at an all time high.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how you guys have kind of built yourselves together. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you talk about that a lot with other people, but yeah, it's just watching it from afar. It's like, man, these guys are handling it really well. You know what I mean? Winning and just rising up the ranks.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's surreal sometimes. Like Drix and I, we are staying at the Palms. We were like at this window here in the lobby, and we were looking out. We were just like pondering the idea of like we have the coolest job in the world. Okay, weight cuts sucks, dieting sucks, but other than that, to travel the world and kick some ass is an absolute pleasure, you know. So you'll you'll see that gratitude in the fights as well. We love to fight, and we will bring an entertaining performance no matter what. So it's getting close to fight dates, and with that, the excitement is on the rise. So it's
The last time we spoke, it was kind of like the a very similar time, right? About a little bit over a week left, and
yeah.
you actually look a lot healthier compared to the last interview. Last interview, you kind of looked more slimmer. Do you feel different for during this weight cut?
Yeah, it's actually like my weight is better than last time, so it helps. You know, I do feel very good. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, and it's again, you know, the team I have back home. Coach Scotty McIntosh, my strength and conditioning coach. I have an amazing dietitian that happens to be my girlfriend as well, and you know, I have a great medical staff. You know, like a Dr. Gerard Vossler, who's world renowned. You know, so um, these guys are keeping me in one piece, which I'm very grateful for, and I'll just focus on the job at hand.
Yeah, another thing I noticed is that you have gotten more sponsorship from companies, since joining the UFC. It seems like the support has been crazy. Like you mentioned, medical staff and all this stuff.
Yes, definitely. I'm very grateful for that. And it's awesome to see that it's all South African owned brands. You know, it's like these guys that I have the pleasure of working with, and you know, some of them are South African owned, some of them are Afrikaans, like my home language. You know, so it's these guys that are also massive fight fans, but also just willing to help athletes, whatever sport they want to pursue. They are there to support that, and it's been a pleasure to work with all of them. So we'll continue the good work back home in Africa.
No doubt, no doubt. How do you see yourself performing against Terrence Mitchell?
I see a finish within 2 rounds. I've said that before. We always look to go for a finish. I never want to win a fight via decision. So if you see me look pissed off in a fight, even if I'm winning, it's because of that. You know, so we're gonna come out there. I am not threatened by his ground game, although he has a lot of finishes. The guys that he has been fighting on the ground are not close to our level. So if he whether he shoots for a takedown and we finish it on the ground, or he keeps it standing, fighting for that bonus, we'll finish it no matter what. But I see a finish within 2 rounds.
All right, July 8th, UFC 290, Las Vegas. Cam, thank you so much, man, for the time and all the best in the fight. And yeah, man, it's the year's just getting started, so
Yeah,
to say.
that's awesome. Yeah, great. And hopefully, you know, hopefully we can set this up. I would love to fight in Abu Dhabi as well. So that flight is much easier from South Africa. So hopefully there's a spot on that card, because after this finish, I'm going to be calling someone out. I'm not going to tell you now, but I'm going to be calling out someone for that October card. So can't wait.
Can't wait either, man. Thank you so much, man, for the time.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.